Hello, denizens of the internet. Popping in briefly to give you my thoughts on Stranger Things Season 5, where we find 30-year-old actors still in high school. That aside, Netflix, doing its double dump format, released 4 episodes recently. The next 3 will be dumped on Christmas Day, so forget about opening presents with the kids. They can do it themselves. And in a unique twist, the finale will be released on New Year's Eve on Netflix at the same time that it's screened in over 350 theaters across the U.S. and Canada. Be warned, the big screen experience ends January 1st. I'm predicting it will be a party. Love this idea. Netflix will be monitoring the results, of course. If it's massively successful, we can all hope that Amazon will give us a showing of the last episode of Rings of Power at the Garland Review Cinema in Spokane. Back to the review. There will be spoilers. By the way, in my opinion, you have to divide Stranger Things into 2 different experiences. Season 1 is a loving homage to 1980s adventure, sci-fi, and horror films with kids as protagonists. It combines the friendship and adventure of the Goonies, the mystery and alien monster elements of E.T. and Gremlins, the dark coming-of-age tone of Stand By Me with a bit of Cold War vibe. Season 2 through 5 are basically monster hunts. I think it lost something for me when we actually saw the creature. Basically a scary, evil Groot. The mystery was, who exactly was the big evil, which we find out later. As far as that goes, if you liked Season 4, then there's no reason you won't like Season 5 so far, just to see this damn thing through to the end. I mean, it's well written, and the effects are great, and it looks like a lot of money was thrown at the show. The huge cast has been added to, dear Lord. It's really just a video game where you need to go from one quest to the next. Stuff happens, but without the emotional hit of Season 1. I mean, they try. But in fact, you could watch the first episode, then the 4th, and be totally satisfied. You won't have missed anything except for some angsty performances. Season 5 establishes that the local and probably federal military has taken control of Hawkins, Indiana, under a strict quarantine after last season's upside-down breach. Their top priority, under the leadership of a new character, military scientist Dr. Ellen Kay, played by the extremely wrinkly Linda Hamilton, is to capture 11. They believe she is central to the disappearance of children and other strange events around Hawkins. Their goal is to control her, likely to study or weaponize her powers. Instead of just fighting monsters, the military seems to be trying to control both the monsters or their powers and powerful individuals like 11 or other psychics, turning the monster war into a potential arms race or experimental hub. It all felt kind of meh for me, but this makes them a third axis in the conflict. Not only victims versus monsters and kids monsters versus monsters, but heroes versus monsters versus military. One bit of good news, 11 is no longer the focus. The psychic miracle worker who saves the day at the last minute, and Max, who I also found insufferable, she's mostly unconscious in a hospital bed. Hopper is running around in gloomy land. I will say episode 4 ends with a satisfying bang, and I finally found myself cheering for the gang. I'll leave it at that. I think all our impressions of Season 5 will depend on if it sticks the landing. We know the CG bad guy is going down, but how it happens and who's going to do it or what bunch of people will do it will be how the whole series will be judged. Maybe he lives and goes on to Dancing with the Stars. That would be cool. The next time, denizens, be seeing you running up a hill.